Hey, this is GemmyD's on Cars.
Hey everybody, this is Dan. This is GemmyD on Cars. Today is the first edition of our comparison videos. It's going to be called Take Your Pick. So today we have my car, which is a 2016 Mazda 6 GT, versus my buddy Matt's. He's my neighbor across the street, and Will is here too for support. He has a 2013 BMW 320i. Now, at first glance, you wouldn't think that these two would be competitors, but when you look at the facts, they really stack up. They compare pretty well. My car is a 2.5 liter 4-cylinder, 185 horsepower. Matt's car is a 2 liter 4-cylinder, 180 horsepower. I mean, we both paid similar amounts. They have similar performance. Matt's car is like a half a second quicker to 60, which, you know, we're not really going to test that, but we just want to get these two cars together.
It just tells you that I have a faster car.
Yeah, basically. This is going to be Germany versus Japan. So, Matt, what were some of the main reasons that you got this car?
Yeah, so got the 320 basically because I love the way it drove. I was looking at the Mercedes Sportmatic C-Class, and nice car and everything else, but got into the BMW, and I fell in love with it right away. And basically all the car I need, Dan.
Yep.
That's all I needed.
When I got my car, I was looking at a Mini Countryman S. I'm a big fan of Minis. My sister had a Cooper, and she has a Countryman now, and drove that a lot. It was so much fun, but there was no Mini dealers in the area that really took care of, you know, service and support, so I kind of decided against it. And I was really loving what Mazda had been doing. I mean, they hit it out of the park with the CX-5, the small SUV, and the 6 was getting good reviews. I think it's the best looking car in the class. I mean, I'm biased, obviously, but I was very impressed with it. So I said this, the next thing I'm going to say, I said it to Matt, and he didn't have any problem with it. So it's really, would you prefer a top-of-the-line Mazda or the entry-level BMW? Which, it's not a bad thing, it's just what it is. I mean, there's BMWs with twin-turbo 6 cylinders, 425 horsepower, so it's all the car that he needs, so that's what works for him. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a ride in each of them. Matt's going to drive my car, and I'm going to drive his car, and we're going to gather our thoughts as my nose is running. It's Super Bowl Sunday, by the way, so go Falcons. Matt and I are Steelers fans. Will is actually, I don't know, Will wants the Falcons to win.
Yes, I do want the Falcons to win. I'm a Seahawks fan. I hate Brady.
Okay,
yeah.
True. Okay.
I'll throw a little hate in the video.
Okay, yeah, I'm up for it. All right, so we're gonna go for a drive and give you our thoughts.
Failing, drifting through the dark, bowing heavily as I look back, falling down this never-ending well, as I bid you this last farewell.
Alright, so this is Matt, and I'm driving Dan's Mazda.
Yep.
Got into the car, my first impression was it's almost like getting into my car. Feels the same. Same cabin's about the same size. Steering wheel's about the same fit for me. Honestly, it reminds me quite a bit of like my car. we're heading down. We're going to hit some country roads first, do some bends.
Yep.
Things like that. Then we're going to come up the highway. Will's going to keep track of our direction, even though I got nav on right now.
So what do you think as far as like power? Like both our cars have the same amount of power.
Yeah, so we're looking at about 100,
pickup?
180 horse.
Yep.
Yeah, we're looking at the timing's the same, torque's the same. When I press the accelerator, I get the same kind of almost the feel that I do in my car.
Yeah, and I feel like it's not taking long for you to get used to it. Like when I drive this car, which is every day obviously, and I get in Holly's car, it's completely different. Like her gas pedal, like I gotta stomp on it to go anywhere, and my brakes are a lot touchier. But
Alright,
hers,
so
you know what I mean?
like I'm driving a completely different car right now, and it's not like it's completely different.
Right.
And I drive this road every morning going to work. So I'm probably hitting the gas at the same time I would be hitting the gas in my car.
Sense.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
So there are certain parts of the road that I go a little faster for fun. Is that okay back here, Will?
Hey, I'm fine.
I don't know if Will should be sitting in that seat or the car seat. I'm not sure. And I'm actually following a Beamer now. That's kind of like the hatchback.
A white
here.
one.
Dan, I mean, you're going to be quite surprised when you drive my car. You're going to see very similar
Yeah, I hope so.
things. You might see something with the accelerator might be a little different.
That's what I was going to ask.
Like
How's
the pedal?
Acceleration?
Yeah, because, and honestly, it might have to do with the floor mat that I have to adjust. Because a little bit of the floor mat.
That's because of my dirty ass work boots.
Yeah. So, no, I mean on my car. I like it. I sometimes feel I have to
I see.
punch a little bit, but I think it might have to do with the floor mats in my car.
Yeah.
I have to adjust mine a lot because I always push it up.
Now we're driving on a stretch of road here that, for the most part, isn't patrolled by police. So every now and then I see one there.
All you people who drive on Lisburn, take notice.
Take notice. Lisburn in the state of Minnesota. Usually it's snowing this time of year.
So I think also another point to touch on with the two cars, I think it's interesting, Matt, you were talking about your acceleration points and how it feels and everything. But, we're talking about a front-wheel drive car versus a rear-wheel drive car.
That's true. That is true. I did not bring that up.
So I think that's also interesting and
It is
feel
a
of
good
cars,
point, yeah.
And the delivery of the power.
Right. BMWs forever and ever have been rear-wheel
I have,
drive.
in my car, I have 3 drive modes. I have regular drive mode, I have an eco drive mode, and then a sport drive mode.
Mm-hmm.
And so I drove mostly in the sport, which gives me that sport feel, the suspension. I'm not a car guy. Like, I can't talk all the technical things,
Right.
but I can just give you common person's perspective on how to drive.
Yeah,
it.
Right.
I only have one driving mode. It's D.
Drive, yeah.
Although, actually, I lie. There is a sport button. Which
There's
I
a
think,
sport button?
Yeah, I think it like.
Is it nitro?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it like crisps up the shifts.
Yeah,
And
okay.
it shifts a little
Your
sooner.
shift points change.
Right.
How's the gas mileage on this? Yeah.
It's pretty awesome. When you turn the car off, it'll tell you what you just did on that trip alone. And sometimes when I'm driving to work, I get like 43, 42, and like in the city, not highway driving, I get like 30. So I average like 33, but that's just from driving, like from my office.
And what do you
to-
use in the tank? What do you fill up with?
87.
87.
Which I don't think you do. Do you?
I use the high. I use the high octane.
That's one thing that I liked about this car, just because I'm cheap and I was like, oh, I don't need premium fuel. That's good.
They don't recommend 87 for me.
Yeah.
89 and up is what they recommend. So I just go with the up.
Right.
It's a new car for me. I want to take care of it. I don't really know what it would do if I put 87 in it.
I think it would run a little
rougher.
Yeah. Not as good.
Now, Dan, you're going to notice in my car, you may not, depending on, I have the European automatic shutoff switch. So when you come to a complete stop, the engine
it's
shuts
like
down.
a stop start.
Yeah, stop start.
Do you like that?
I'm kind of getting used to it. Yeah.
Was it weird at first?
It was totally weird at first. In fact,
Like, do you hear the car going back on, or you just take?
it feels like the car just stalls on you.
I think when you take your foot off the brake,
It starts right up. Yep. But I didn't know that because the salesman never went over it with me.
Really?
So the very first night I was driving the car, he kept doing it.
And you're like, what's going on?
I was so. Can I say pissed off?
Yes.
I was pissed off, and I called him that night. It was like 9 o'clock, and I said, I am not happy. And he starts laughing at me.
And you knew what you were talking about.
He said, I'm sorry, here's what I think it is. And it's exactly what it was.
Wow.
Now, Matt, do you see or do you hear a difference as far as road noise? What do you think of the ride comfort? How smooth it is?
Yeah, like I feel, number one, the darn heating seats are working.
Yeah.
Because right now I'm pretty warm.
Do you want it down?
No, you're good.
Okay.
As far as the handling of the car, how it feels on the road, a lot of, just typical road noise. You know, I think for the most part I'm not hearing too much other than what's normal.
I think I've read that they say this car is a little bit noisier than normal. I don't really know why, but I think it's.
But also,
I'm used to it.
To me, I don't pay attention.
Right.
I'm usually thinking about something.
Yeah.
You know, I think it's got a nice little sporty feel to it.
Right.
Got the sedan features, obviously, with 4 doors, but it's got a sporty feel. So anybody who's looking at, now your car's loaded, it's got every trick in the book in here. So
yeah, like when I was looking in this class of cars, there was Camry, which is boring. Accord, they're nice, but I saw this car and I was in love with it. I didn't want an Altima because they have the CVT transmission. I didn't want that. So, and they said that this car was for people who would like to drive. Like, it handled a little bit better than the others. And I drove, when I did my test drive, it was short, and I was like, yep, I like it.
now I also dance. By the way, so viewers, he knows he's a pretty tall guy, and I'm actually quite vertically challenged. To say the least.
On the lower end of this.
Lower end of the thing, and I feel oppressed. But
I'm average, by the way. I'm 6 feet tall. Will's taller than me.
okay, so what I'm basically getting at is I had to lift the seat up a little bit. So I'm sitting up. I mean, Dan would be sitting.
So the seat is like accommodating.
It's accommodating to me. Yeah.
And this is the Grand Touring model, which was there's Sport, Touring, Grand Touring.
Okay.
And that kind of heavily, like I don't buy cars very often. I had my last car for 11 years, so I thought I want everything possible.
Right.
So that's why I wanted a GT. And this generation of Mazda was started in 2014, and when that came out, I was like, okay, I'll keep my eye on that. But they redesigned the interior and the front and back legs for 16, so I was like, okay, that's what I want. So I knew I wanted a GT just because it has everything. I mean, all the stuff that I wanted. So that's why I went for this car. And I have never been a white car person, but Holly and I both love this car in white. There was a nice blue that I would have got if I didn't get white.
What color blue was it?
It's like a navy blue. It's beautiful, deep blue. There was a red color, which like every Mazda press thing was in that color. It's called Soul Red.
Mm-hmm.
It's a nice color, but I don't know. I wanted that right away, but I went to the dealer on like a Sunday just to look at the colors, and I saw a white one. I was like, yep, I think I want a white one.
I got a white car because I'm just trying to keep up with the Joneses.
Right.
Yeah.
So I had a white car. Matt had to have a white car.
I have a white car.
Anthony
I
Calvano,
just got a new
watching.
car, it was
Anthony
white.
wanted white, so I basically started the white car. No, the trend. No, I'm kidding.
Actually, the car I was looking at, my other, was almost like a royal blue.
Yeah.
It was kind of sharp looking. It had the
Beamer?
same car.
Really?
It was a year older, or a year newer. Just was at that point a little bit out of my price range at that, what I was really looking for. So Dan, I'm about ready to pull in. I like your car.
Thank you. You impressed?
I'm impressed. I think it drives very similar. I'll let you be the judge of that.
Okay.
We're going to back in. I always back in most of my parking spots. I use my mirrors. I
Don't
look
hit the
back.
beamer. Don't hit it.
I want to hit that. You can have it all.
Alright, so we're gonna hop into the Beamer and go from there. Alright, so I'm now driving Matt's BMW 320. A couple things the three of us were just talking about. This car is way, way, way quieter than my car. And I don't know if that has something to do with that it's like a German car, because German cars are known for their, engineering and everything is perfection. I don't know if that's just a difference in, a Japanese car compared to a German car or what, and I was saying that this car feels a little, I don't know if cushier is the right word, but it's because it feels a little smoother, because this has smaller, like my car has 19-inch wheels and this is 16 or 17-inch, and it just a little more tire, what am I trying to say, Will? It's like more tire contact?
Well, not really tire contact. You're looking at a little more of a cushion or a buffer that the tire provides.
Right.
The sidewalls on a lower profile tire are going to be stiffer, just because it can't absorb as much, so it has to, the walls, so you don't chip your wheels.
Right.
So the sidewalls have to be a little firmer to protect that. So there isn't as much rebound in the tire along with the suspension.
Yeah, this car feels, I would say the acceleration, like pickup, just driving on this little kind of twisty road is similar. I mean, this car feels very, very nice. I mean, as any BMW would.
Does it feel pretty planted?
Yeah,
like
I would
not
say
a whole
so.
lot of roll or sway.
Dan, when we get up on this turn here, I'm going to flick the sport switch on it,
Okay.
and you tell me if you notice any
difference.
difference. Yeah. As far as overall feel, Dan, as far as getting in, comfort, aesthetic appeal, how is it compared to your car? How do you feel about that?
I think, well, let's see, my car has like a black and lighter tan interior. This is like a tan with nice wood. My car does not have the wood, but everything feels very comfortable. I was saying, like, my mom and dad have a 98 3 Series, and this feels exactly like that, just newer, updated. The wheel, I know all BMWs have black steering wheels, like this one does, and black on the top of the dash.
Right.
And then the interior colors and wood and trim, everything varies. But yeah, this just feels like a newer version of that, which is a good thing, because, I mean...
So you had an expectation getting in.
Yeah, and it's definitely what I
right.
thought it would be. It's nice. I mean, when I was looking for cars, I considered this car either a 320 or a 328, and I knew it would be a great car, but it just wasn't right at the time.
So that when I got this, you asked me at the beginning of the segment about why this car. I did test drive that Mercedes.
Mm.
Nice car.
The C-Class.
The C-Class.
Right.
Sedan, Sportmatic, and lovely car. But I really tell you what, as soon as I sat and drove this, it was real easy to make a decision.
Mm-hmm.
It just felt good for me. It's all I need, the 180, 185.
Right.
In some cases with the Sport, you get about 190 horse.
Yeah.
But for me, that's all I need.
Yeah.
For what I do to go back and work every day. Now, do you have that feature as well, the manual?
I have the paddle shifters, yeah.
Okay.
I didn't even mention that in my car.
So you just have paddle shifters?
Yeah, and you can do it on the stick.
You can do it on the stick too?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I know that was one thing exclusive to the GT.
Now, what is the purpose of that, to be honest? What is it?
Of what?
To give you the feel that you're driving a manual transmission?
Basically.
Even though you don't have the fun with the clutch and...
It's a little bit of...
Not that driving with the clutch is fun.
Yeah. A little bit more driver involvement. I mean, I use it probably 30% of the time.
Okay.
I mean, in the morning when I'm driving to work, I'm not...
I very rarely use it, if ever.
Yeah.
If you want to control, your shift points, whether, you've got a lead foot and you want to race, or if it's snowy out or conditions, you can start from second gear.
True.
Stop.
Yeah, I could see that's probably when I would most likely use it.
Mm-hmm.
But let's talk about that rear wheel drive versus the front wheel. You notice a difference in that?
I don't think I noticed.
Probably not.
I don't really notice the difference. I mean, they say that rear wheel drive is better for performance. I don't know.
Obviously,
Drive off
not
the
that
front
much of a big difference, or else we would have talked about it. Probably.
Yeah. All right, so I'm getting.
What's going to happen? I mean, usually you'll feel the difference when you're driving, accelerating through corners. And that rear wheel, they say it's better for performance and that sort of thing, because it allows you to kick out the back end.
Yeah, I'm not doing any drifts in the Mazda.
Yeah.
All right, so you're right. It's 8. I'm in 8th gear.
Yeah.
Going about 80 on the highway. I mean, that was nothing. That
Doesn't feel like 80, does it?
No, not at all. And that says enough that you don't need 6 cylinders or any more power.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Those are fun to have. And
yeah, I mean, sure, I could deal with more horsepower.
But as far as
on an everyday basis,
on a price point,
right?
What you get, you're getting.
It's enough.
It's enough. With a kid in college and
yeah,
another one going, so.
The two of us say that, and the guy in the back seat has 395 horsepower truck.
Yes, yes, but now he also has college tuition in
yes
18 years
in the near future, in the not so near future, but
yeah.
Is that right there, Will?
Yeah. So we're planning. I mean, I'm not really planning on cutting back on my vehicles. My horsepower.
Well, when you get to that level, you want to maintain, right?
When you buy your first minivan, you want to make sure it's a V8.
That'll never happen.
No.
The wife will never let that happen.
I won't let you.
Yeah, the wife hates minivans.
Come on, there's nothing wrong with it.
She will not. Even if I said I wanted to buy one, she would not.
You know what? Well, I said that we had one minivan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she would not. No, she won't. She's got her Outback.
I can understand why people like BMWs. And this, like I said before, this being the entry level. I mean, this is the. I hate to say bottom of the barrel because it's not. This is a wonderful car, but this is the entry point to get into a 3 Series, and this is nice, very nice. I mean, I considered it. It just wasn't right for me, but I can understand what people say when they say BMWs are nice, because this is a perfectly fine car.
I mean, they even make a car lower than the C-Class.
Yeah, the CLA.
Yeah, and
you know what? I have a friend on Facebook, John, Mr. Belsack. If you're watching this, he has a CLA 55, the AMG one, which is like 355 horsepower. I want to drive that car. If you're watching this.
Anyone else, you want Dan to drive your car?
Absolutely.
You gotta connect them.
If you're watching this and you have a nice car, I'll drive it. This car is not. It's not a 4-cylinder where you need to rev the hell out of it to get going. I mean, you can, but you don't need to. I feel like there's like low end torque.
We didn't talk about this at all. What about the back seats, as far as room and comfort?
Well,
I mean, you're a pretty big guy, so.
So I feel like I have a little more headroom in this car than Dan's. I'm 6'2". It's still a little tight back here. Both cars were, so I don't think you'd be sacrificing on either or. I noticed neither car has heated seats.
In the back.
Yeah. It was kind of, you guys are nice and toasty and warm up there, and I was looking for mine back here. I didn't see that.
I like the interior of this car. I feel like a bunch of automakers are now doing the thing where they have your audio controls and heat controls on the bottom, and then the vents, and then it's like a, I don't know, iPad-like screen. But I like it. Works fine to me.
Yeah.
Both cars have the Bluetooth capabilities, cruise and the steering wheel.
Yeah.
A lot of those features nowadays are pretty standard.
Yeah,
I did notice the infotainment system center display is actually pretty. I mean, 90-95%. Like, it was almost identical. Just as far as the setup, now that obviously the screen's going to look a little bit different. BMW has their touch on it.
Yeah, this is called.
They don't go for a lot of flash in their systems, but it's it's well put together, and you can cycle through and find what you need. So I think overall these cars, as you were saying, Dan, are really comparable.
Yeah.
Now obviously price points, you know, or maintenance fees, that sort of thing, are going to be different. But
yeah, I was telling Matt earlier. I just saw a survey online that compared the maintenance cost of all like major brands. I think there was like 26 automakers on the list, and BMW was far and away number one. Like over 10 years, it would cost like $17,000 in maintenance. Number two, I think, was Mercedes at like 12.
yeah,
So, I mean, German cars are nice cars to drive. They're expensive to fix. There's no way around that. And I think the Mazda was like number 24 on the list. It was way down there. So that is one thing that played majorly into my car purchase. I mean, I wanted a good-looking car that was decently quick, but very reliable too.
yeah. You enter the realm of luxury, you know, imports,
Yeah.
and we get a little bit of that.
All right, so we're coming to the end of my drive in this car. So I thought this car would be very nice. It is. It's everything I thought it would be. I mean, I still love my Mazda, but I could see myself with a BMW someday. Any final thoughts? Anybody?
I enjoyed driving both cars. Obviously, I enjoyed driving mine, but I would say to anybody who's looking for a sedan who has a sport type, and you're looking at Mazda, you look at BMW, that you have some, like Will said, some comparable features, the way it handles, and a lot to choose from. I guess it just becomes down to personal preference.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and what you're looking for, and the
Yep.
price points. You know, I guess that's the big one. But
So if anybody has any comments or anything, leave us a comment. Please subscribe and like my channel, and we'll see you on the next battle.